Happy Friday. I hope your weekend is off to a great start. I'm happy that it's Friday, although I have to admit yesterday was kind of Friday for me because I took the day off today. Turning a long weekend into an extra long weekend, it turns out, and didn't do much of anything today, so I should be well rested and raring to go. Anyway, great to see so many folks already assembled here. We got Steve Russell, Big Dave, Mushroom Leg, Ron Hardcrackers, Texas Piper. Good to see you folks today. Kevin Doolin, Tim Fournier, Pensive Piper, Artie's Place. Yes, pray for Phil and his cat that passed away today. Phil's quite sad about his cat Princess that passed on, so please keep him in your prayers. Rough day for him. Phil Rivera is who we're talking about here. MTMTB, good to see you tonight. Think I got Pensive Piper, St. David's Pipes, Tramper Scott, Bona Piper, good evening there, Christian. Microphone is set too low. Well, that's not good. Let's see what we can do about that. I'm just trying to get some, it seems to be okay. How's that? Any better? You have to let me know if that's any better and how bad it might actually be. Bear Wolf and Miss Kathy. Hello, Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. Good to see you. Hillbilly Piper. Portsmouth Piper. Sound is okay now. Great. Thank you, Christian. Much appreciated. Puny Pipe Man. Good to see you tonight. And Armchair Piper. How you doing there, Ed? Think we're caught up. Tim misses his Maine Coon Gizmo. I don't know what that is, Tim, but I hope you find a replacement. Jeffrey Feinberg, how you doing there, buddy? Glad to hear it's good, Donnie. Gary Edminster, audio is fine. Okay, I think we're doing okay now with the audio. Mushroom Leg had to put his cat down a few weeks ago. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Yeah, it's tough when you have to lose a pet, and when you have to put it down is hard too. Juris Piper, good to see you tonight. And there's James Finn. How you doing, James? You'll be very interested in the pipe I'm going to be smoking later tonight, James. There's Lord Hogarth. Good to see you, buddy. We can get this out of the way. I'll tell you, I'm not trying to hide it, it's just annoying me. I'll tell you what it is. But right now I got to get to the point where the video isn't so far behind. There. Couch and Ilva just came in from the snow. You got snow there, huh? Ochoita, hello there, buddy. Good to see you. Yeah, it's still been kind of warm here. Oh, Tim, so sorry to hear that. I understand now. I was thinking the word gizmo was a noun, and that's why I got confused, but I understand now. Virtual Pipe Club, how you doing? I'm assuming that's David Dorian? Or somebody just calling themselves the Virtual Pipe Club. I don't know, but good to see you anyway. Sailor smoking some Shandy Gaff and a 7 Ellie Punto Oro. Johnny Walker Black on the side. Snowing out there for you too, Tim, huh? Yeah, we're oddly warm still. It's in the 40s. Bona Piper's got a foot of snow up there near Montreal. Wow. By the way, I've got, as is the tradition, the Matches Memorial Friday 7 Ellie with some Haunted Bookshop. Got something different lined up for the second pipe. Ah, it is you, David Dorian. Well, good to see you, buddy. Great to see you. There's George Campbell. How you doing tonight? Beowulf and Miss Kathy heard today that they're going to start putting cancer warning labels on liquor. Why not? When are they going to start putting them on food and water? I don't know if you saw my post on Instagram, but I bought a set of clamps from Rockler, just wood clamps. And they actually had a sticker on them saying this product is known to cause cancer and reproductive harm in the state of California. So I took a picture of this and I put it on Instagram and I said, you know, you folks in California aren't using these right. Just crazy. Couch says it's too cold to smoke outside. Yeah, well, I'm a wimp, Couch. It's too cold now for me to smoke outside. But you and Bonapiper and the Urban Hermit, who I see just showed up. How you doing, Everett? You guys are real men. You go out in that sub-zero weather and smoke a pipe. Speaking of alcohol, Steve and Kathy spoke about it. I'm going to have another one of these Oberon American Wheat Ale. Oberon Ale, which I had one of these back before the holidays, and it was hoppy as all get out. So we'll live with that. I still have two of my Sweet Baby Jesus peanut butter porters to get through, but I had this sitting up there and I thought, well, I might as well break it up a bit and drink the hoppy ale. Not a fan of the hops, but yeah, that's the way I remembered it. 8 degrees Celsius up in the Urban Hermit's part of the woods. My goodness. Andrew Sirigliano, how you doing, Andrew? Tim says he does smoke in the snow, but he does it from his living room. Andrew, I still haven't decided about the fly fishing show. I'm probably not going though. Probably not. I'll send you an email if I change my mind, but I'm probably not going. Urban Hermit says he's been smoking Haunted Bookshop in the Savinelli Series 3 673 all day. Now he's switching over to some Morley's Best. A fine Latakia blend from Cornell and Deal. I can smoke Morley's Best more easily than I can smoke Big and Burley. So I don't know what that says about me. I just got a weird palate when it comes to Latakia. Yeah, that's kind of what's making me not want to go, Andrew. It's more of the same, and I don't need anything. You know, I used to always enjoy going to we're talking about the fly fishing show in New Jersey. I used to go to stock up on fly tying material and stuff, but I've got enough fly tying material to tie flies for the rest of my life and then open a fly shop. So I don't need that, and I don't see that there's going to be much else going on there that would be of interest. Portsmouth Piper is asking, will I be traveling down to the Muletown show in March? I would love to do that, Mark. I'd have to discuss it with the missus. We still got stuff going on. You know, it's never easy, and she might be heading back to Pittsburgh real soon. Just some more issues with her dad's health and stuff. Nothing, you know, life-threatening or anything, but she's got to help out. So depending on how that goes, I may or may not be able to, but I'd love to do it. Tim is thinking about camping out in, I still can't say that word. James Finn is smoking an old... You're gonna make me put my glasses on, Jim. Peroni Lun... Yeah, he's smoking one of those with very old Sherlock Holmes and Hennessy. Paranelli? Ah, James, I hope you're enjoying it. Where is the fly fishing show, and is it a national traveling show? Voodoo asks. It is a national traveling show, but it's only in certain states. I know they do it in New Jersey, Colorado, somewhere on the West Coast, and I don't know if there's anywhere in the Midwest. Maybe Andrew would know. But it's called the Fly Fishing Show. If you just look online, just put the Fly Fishing Show into Google, it should show up. Indeed, Sailor, I don't think the warning stickers do much. And actually, somebody sent me an article on Facebook, because I cross-post Instagram to Facebook, which is about the only thing I do on Facebook. And somebody sent me a thing and said it's all about the lawyers, and I read the article. It's really interesting. Basically, those warning stickers were intended to decrease like lead in the water and stuff like that. You know, it was originally never going to be on everything, and then once lawyers got a hold of it and started suing for everything, it just became sort of a blanket thing where they put the warning stickers on just as a CYA measure. Michael Case, good evening. Smoking Drexel 5.7 something vapor in a 2017 in a custom built. Very nice, Michael. Sorry, without my glasses, I can't quite see the Roman number, and I don't remember which one it is. I think it's 7. Yeah, the water thing is a mess out there, Tim. They still have places that are in drought. They got places flooding. Are you going to Muletown, Portsmouth Piper? Are you definitely going? Tramper Scott, that's a good point, Scott. The warning labels did stop people from collecting empty tobacco tins. Hey, the Smooth Piper, how you doing there? Peter and Ford Smoking Pipes, good to see you, buddy. Virtual Pipe Club, David Dorian is smoking some Virginia Oriental from the Chicago show and a little Eskimo. Very nice. Ah, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, that blog post got a lot of traffic. I did a blog post on making French wheels, and was quite pleased with the reception of that one. I don't know how to raise the magnification, Gary, but please don't tell me, because I'm not going to try to do it now or I'll mess things up. Yeah, Christian, a break will come. Taciturn Richard. Ah, he wants to know why there's a picture of a chisel in the upper right corner. You want to know why, Richard? Because I cannot get rid of it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. I know where the picture is. I know why it's on the computer, but I do not know why it appeared there. At one point, I set up a little picture-in-picture for like when I had a guest on the phone, and I think that's the box, but I can't turn it off. And I apologize, but I got a late start tonight, and I just have not been able to get rid of it, so you have to live with the little picture of the chisel, and I'm glad somebody noticed it. There's Ochoita as well noticing it. Yeah, I'm smart. I'm sorry. It's just it's a software glitch, and I can't. I tried for about 5 minutes before I had to start things running here, and I could not get rid of it. There is a bit of a story behind it. It's an extremely cheap chisel. I bought a set of chisels at Harbor Freight. Not that I needed chisels, but when you can get a set of 6 chisels for $12 and you got a 20% off coupon and you're curious, you buy them. And so I've been playing with them, and I've been taking pictures as I sort of get them, what's the word I'm looking for? ready for service, and just playing to see how good a chisel that costs less than $2 could possibly be. So I've been taking lots of pictures. I'm planning to maybe do a blog post on these cheap Harbor Freight chisels and how they compare to more expensive ones. So that's the reason, that's the story behind the picture, but why it's there, I cannot tell you. Doug Owen, good evening, sir. Good to see you tonight. No, Couch, that picture on a picture is not on a Mac, it's on a real computer. But this is not, it's not Linux's fault, it's OBS's fault, or it's my inability to use OBS's fault. My fault. That's true, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. You never know what could have shown up there. Although, believe me, with me, it's going to be either chisels, flies, pipes, or you know, maybe if you want to get really racy, there might be some math. So. Yeah, Scott, I agree. There's some stuff. I mean, Harbor Freight sells a lot of junk, but like I buy their needle files because you can get a set of 12 of them for like $3. And they're really cheap, and you can grind them up on a grinder and use them and throw them away, and you just buy another set. And I really like them just for making specialty files that I need to get into when I'm making stems and things like that. You know, they're handy. It's nice to have a set of cheap files that you don't mind putting on your grinder to put a safe edge on them, or to thin one edge down or something like that. I don't think any computer wants to be a Mac, Tim. I know there are a lot of processors and memory chips that have been drafted into slavery on that platform, but I don't think any self-respecting integrated circuit would want to be part of that. That's true, Ron. Most people take pictures of food, and I take pictures of wood chisels. It's sad but true. It would have been awesome if it was a picture of Ilva. Indeed it would, Couch. Oh, really, Doug? I'm not surprised. World Economic Forum food target by 2030, no dairy and no meat unless you're very wealthy. Yep, and that's what they're moving us towards. Why do you think eggs are so expensive? We'll fix it. Although there is the other problem, which is we are running out of arable land to grow feed for livestock. I'm sorry, I want to see what Artie said there. Harbor Freight is a good tool, repurposed tool in many cases. Yes, I agree, Artie. I agree wholeheartedly. We are running out of arable land to grow feed crops on in order to feed cows and so on. So we are going to run into a problem, and the estimates are that by 2030, we will no longer be able to produce enough meat. And at that point, there's a lot of companies that are currently investing in crickets and grasshoppers, insect protein. Something to look forward to. Hey, Ford, no jokes about that. All briared up. Hey, John, I'm doing fine. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Oh no, the Mr. Brogg stem broke. That's not good, Tim. Send me some pictures. I'll let you know if I can do anything with it. I'm not doing repair work these days, but occasionally I'll sneak something in. I'm working on banding a cracked shank right now. Well, I'm waiting for the band. Virtual Pipe Club says he's had insect protein and it pretty much tastes like jerky. Yeah. At least it didn't taste like chicken, huh? Unless it tasted like chicken jerky, I suppose. I've had crickets. I've actually eaten crickets. Not live crickets, but desiccated, dried, fried, something. They were crunchy and disturbingly leggy. Soylent Green. There you go, Steve. Yeah, many of us can just go get a deer. Patrick Grant, how you doing, Patrick? Good to see you. And Scott Terry, coming from Maine, enjoying some Cornell and Deal Carolina Red Flake and a Savinelli Roma Large Dublin. Sounds nice. Lord Hogarth says there's a future shortage of fertilizer. Is that true, or I can imagine, making a joke about how there couldn't possibly be a shortage of fertilizer given the nonsense that's being spewed around these days, but yeah. Phil Rivera, how you doing, Phil? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're feeling a little bit better about what happened today. We mentioned it earlier, Phil. Oh, sounds good, John. Sounds like you're keeping busy there. Oh, David, oh. David Dorian says he almost ate a giant dried cockroach in China, but he wasn't drunk enough. Oh, interesting. So the Urban Hermit says that Morley's Best could replace Big and Burley. But I'm curious if you. Sorry, I misplaced my lighter by putting it right in front of me. I'm curious if you find it to be stronger in terms of Latakia than Big and Burley. Because I wouldn't go out and buy it by the pound, but I can smoke Morley's Best. I can't smoke Big and Burley. I know you'll be okay, Phil, but yeah, it sucks. It definitely does. Ford Smoking Pipe says, what do you think about the Petri dish meat substitute made from human cells? I think they can keep it, Ford. Oh, very cool. George Campbell says he wound up with a Fifth Avenue pipe shop pipe, a bent bulldog, and a wider bowl, and it smokes English really well. Very nice. Sailor says he's had fried grasshoppers, not bad, but no substitute for beef or chicken or fish or anything else normal. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I only had the crickets that once, but I'm not going to be ordering a big bowl of crickets anytime soon. All right, David Dorian, thank you for joining us, my friend. Good to see you. Give our best to the wife as well. Yeah, that's what I thought, Everett, that there'd be more Latakia in Morley's Best. Funny how that works. No, Michael, the crock cutter is going to go back to Pittsburgh when my wife goes back, and as I was mentioning earlier, that might be sooner than we thought. So, yeah, maybe delivered soon, but it hasn't. It's still in my dining room. Yeah, Petri dish does not lend itself to appetizing sounding cuisine, Doug. I agree. Good point, Voodoo. Bugs from the sea, lobster, crab, and shrimp. Pretty much true. There are a lot of deer here in Pennsylvania, Big Dave. I've come pretty close to running into a few. How to serve people. Twilight Zone reference from Taciturn Richard. Yes, John the Baptist survived on locust and honey, indeed. And he didn't complain about it. $6 for a gallon of milk. Unbelievable. St. David says. But you know, to be fair, milk has always been more expensive than gas, and you know. I don't drink milk. I haven't drunk milk in years. Very little dairy in my diet. Butter is about the only thing I have anymore that's dairy. That's well put, Artie. He says animals are a gift to use. We take care of them, and their time is limited. We have to take comfort in the time we have with them. And yeah, that's very well put, Artie. And also in the time we give to them. You know, the life we provide for them. George Campbell, crickets and possum are two things he hasn't tried in spite of his rural upbringing. Yeah, well, I can cross crickets off the list. I wouldn't mind trying possum. And Everett says that he finds Morley's Best to be sweeter than Big and Burley, but the nicotine level is fantastic. Gizmo ate a locust once, says Tim. My beagle named Buckley used to eat cicadas when we lived in Atlanta. He would go crazy for these things. And this is a bit disgusting if you want to cover your ears for a moment, but there would be these like glowing green eyes in his poop, and it was very disturbing. And one day we were out for a walk, and he just snatched one out of the air. And I said, oh no. And I went and I stuck my hand in his mouth, and I grabbed it, and I pulled it out, and opened up my hand, and there's this cicada sitting in my hand that just suddenly buzzed away. And I don't know which of the three of us was more surprised, more shocked. As the dog's looking up at me like, I can't believe you did that. All Briared Up says possum is a bit gravelly. And Big Dave's getting hungry with all this food talk. Oh, Buckley was a good hunter. He would track rabbit, and it was funny when we lived in Atlanta, but then we moved up here to Pennsylvania, and you know, we're walking in basically down a suburban street, but there's a lot of rabbits around here, and he would pick up the rabbit trail and start baying at, you know, 10 o'clock at night, and you'd see all the lights coming on and stuff. Buckley wasn't well liked in his new neighborhood. Possum fillets on the local highways? Yeah, I saw a squirrel fillet today when I was out and about. Ron Hardcracker says he's had barbecued raccoon and it was oily. Venison and squirrel is fabulous according to St. David's Pipes. I've had venison and love it. I wouldn't be opposed to squirrel. I'd like to try it sometime, but haven't had the opportunity. Oh, Voodoo, that is really kind of you. No, we're gonna somebody take a screenshot just in case we do wind up on a deserted island with voodoo. Mountain Coffee Outdoors says squirrel isn't bad, but crickets taste like bug. Yeah, chicken of the tree. There you go, Gary. Yeah, I've had that taste of bug because anybody that's ever ridden a bike as a kid in the summer probably has had bugs go in their mouth, and yeah, there is a unique taste of bug, no question about it, and it's not pleasant. Ford says that his dingy dogs fight the red wasps. That could be an interesting fight. And the Urban Hermit says if you like Canal Boat, then you would like Morley's Best. I don't think I've had Canal Boat actually. I have had Morley's Best though. Been a while. Big Dave, that's a good point. They managed to survive on Gilligan's Island, and they seem to survive primarily on coconut custard pie, and nobody had to eat anybody. So maybe voodoo is safe. Smooth Piper's had rabbit. I've had rabbit. I've had frog. What other strange things have I eaten? I had French fries cooked in horse fat. It's a story unto itself. Didn't do that on purpose, turns out. But Kevin Doolin's got some Old Joe Krantz with dark roasted coffee and sweet cream, and he says it is the bomb. Gary Edminster is going to skip the 3-hour tour, so he'll be safe. Squirrel gravy is good stuff on biscuits, according to Ford. Well, there you go. Tim Fournier, Gator. I have had Gator. It was fine. It was pretty nondescript. I hate to say it tasted like chicken, but it kind of did. Haven't had rattlesnake. Tobacco Pipes International. How you doing, Mark? Not going to talk about Rocky Mountain oysters, MTMTB. That's just disgusting. Oh, that's a terrible story there, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. Making a poor man chew a stink bug. My goodness, that must have been awful. Ford says rattlesnake tastes like chicken. Voodoo, oh, I've heard about these. Voodoo's had some very tiny live translucent fish at a sushi bar, and they tasted like pure sugar. Interesting. No, Sailor, you'd have to eat like large quantities of insect protein. I don't think you could just start foraging on grasshoppers and expect to live for very long. He's saying, a lot of the insect is chitin, and maybe dogs can digest it, but humans can't. Rabbit was very popular in Wales, where St. David's dad is from. Folks who hunted them before Britain went insane. My father-in-law used to hunt rabbits. They're still commonly hunted around here. Elk is the best wild meat Big Dave has eaten. I've had elk, and it was very good. Buffalo. Jeffrey Feinberg, snapping turtle. Patrick Grant has eaten gator, frog, and ostrich. Never had ostrich. I've had turtle soup. Tim has heard the chicken tastes like chicken. There you go. Everett hunts rabbits. Hassenpfeffer, indeed, Voodoo, indeed. And Tobacco Pipes International is agreeing that humans don't eat bugs. Just period. Humans don't eat bugs. Yak is good, according to Mountain Coffee Outdoors. Old Uncle Mike had snails long ago, and they tasted like bologna. Huh. I've had escargot. It tasted like garlic. Turtle soup, conch soup. Yeah, I've had conch. Very good. Ford says the rabbit is very lean, and you can't live on that alone. That's interesting because rabbit is the animal that's most efficient at turning vegetation into meat. Well, I am done with this pipe. So I'm going to switch over to pipe number 2, and I got some, it's a special pipe, and I got some special tobacco for it. We'll see how this goes. So I'll show you the pipe first. This is a beauty. This is from my buddy Jim Finn, who I hope is still on. This is a Peterson. It is a pipe that Jim refinished. And it's a 205. It just says Peterson Deluxe, and I'm trying to remember if it said Dublin. Yes, it's Peterson Dublin, and it's stamped Peterson Deluxe with 205. Sterling silver. I love the way Jim restored this because he took just enough patina off to make it look clean, but it still looks old, and he just did a beautiful job with that. And he made a new stem for it and put in the condenser that was not originally on this pipe, and he's told me that he's had a lot of success with this, so I'm really looking forward to trying it. I don't like new Petersons. I have some old, I don't actually have, this is the only Peterson I own now. The new ones I think are terrible, but the old Irish seconds I really liked, and I'm just really looking forward to trying this. So thank you, Jim, and we'll give this a whirl. The tobacco I've got, I don't know if you guys will recognize the packaging here. This is from my buddy Cloud Bear, who I think goes by Cloud Bear Custom Blends on his Instagram, and he does custom blending. He actually starts from whole leaf and does all the processing himself, and that includes steaming and pressing and all kinds of cool stuff. And this is a blend that he calls Four Monks, and it's Virginia, dark burley, and dark fired Kentucky. Really, really interesting blend. And he does it, if I'm remembering right, he steams the Virginia. It's red Virginia. He steams it. He presses it with the burley, and then after it's pressed, he rubs it out. Oh, that's right, Jim. It's a non-P-lip that he did just for me because he knew I wouldn't like the P-lip. So, yes, a lot of thought went into this. Yeah, so he presses the burley and the Virginia, rubs it out, and then adds in the old dark fired. And yeah, it's a very, very interesting blend. I've had about 4 bowls of it now. The only thing I don't like is the packaging because it's hard to get my fingers in there, but that's the fault of my stubby little fingers. So we'll just pour it into the pipe. And he is always coming out with a new blend. I don't know how he comes up with them, and he's got a wide variety too. He's got aromatics, he's got vapors, all kinds of stuff. So I will light this up and I'll tell you how both the pipe and the tobacco behave. I didn't mean to change the subject, Ron. Your friend was eating raw rattlesnake in seals? I don't even understand that. I'll scroll back and find it, Ron. I'm really bad at this. Here we go. Never had fried rattlesnake, but a friend of mine developed a taste for it when he was a SEAL team leader, but it was raw when he first had it. He said fried rattler doesn't reheat well. Ugh. Yeah, I probably wish I hadn't hadn't scrolled back to that. I also see some folks mentioning the passing of Lisa Marie Presley, which yeah, that was sad news. She was only 54. St. David's saying the new Petersons are better quality, so apparently the Ladalsi acquisition has had a good effect on them. Doug Owen says he was skeptical of the condenser, or as Peterson calls it, the chimney. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that it would be the chimney. I don't get that either. But it does seem to produce a cooler smoke. He says by extending the distance traveled by the smoke, perhaps? Could be. Jim PM, happy Friday to you. The Red Country Gentleman toasting a bowl of 507C Virginia slices, one of his favorite straights. Sounds good. We got Ron laughing, so. Chubbs McGee, good to see you. Says he just recently bought a Peterson church warden and it's well made with good drilling. Well, that's good to hear. Really good to hear. Big Country Briar. How you doing, Cole? Just home from eating fajitas, chicken, steak, and shrimp, but no snake. Maybe next time. The Shape Eddy is, I believe it's 205. Thank you, Peter. I will certainly enjoy it. So far, it's behaving nicely. Yeah, Doug, those new premium Sandblast Petersons are very nice looking. So I smoked this blend, again, this is Four Monks by Cloudbear. First time I smoked it, I said, this is reminding me of something. And my wife said, that smells like a cigar. And I said, oh, yes, it's cigar leaf. And I smoked another bowl and it was, yeah, it's definitely cigar leaf. So I went and I very proudly told Cloudbear that I knew what was in his blend and, you know, Virginia burley, probably a dark burley and cigar leaf. And he said, no, no cigar leaf. But it's that dark fired. Not wanting to stay lit for some reason. Might not have had the stem seated all the way. Hillbilly Piper says he doesn't like the P-lips. Sailor says they may look nice, but they're still a Peterson, and Voodoo's saying a lot of them seem to be misdrilled. And other folks are saying they smoke great and they're wonderful pipes. I think it's hit and miss. And I'm hearing that the quality has gone up, so that's a good thing. I've said before, I've repaired or tried to repair some Petersons that were just new and sent to me because in one case the guy smoked it once and the finish just bubbled up, orange peeled on him. Some were so poorly misdrilled that I told the guy just to return it. It was unsmoked. There was nothing I could really do that made sense because it was unsmoked. Voodoo is asking a question that I'm sure Doug Owen can answer. What was the model Peterson that Sherlock Holmes smoked in most of the movies? And that would be the Basil Rathbone movies. I do not know the model, but I bet Doug does. Bearwolf and Miss Kathy says cut back to only 1 or 2 bowls a day, usually in the morning with coffee. Good for you. I hope that's working well for you. I have pretty much gotten back to my old levels after cutting back for a while. Yes, St. David Ladalsi did purchase Peterson, and I think that might be why the quality has gone up a bit. '70s and '80s, Gary Edminster, those would be fine pipes for sure. I think the quality was quite high then, and that's when they were still, their seconds, which were the Irish seconds, were top quality pipes. I mean, I have several of those that I can't figure out why they were seconds. Charlie Delgado is asking, what can he do when his pipe gets too hot? Well, Charlie, that could be for a number of reasons, but most likely you're smoking it too fast. In fact, yeah, you're smoking it too fast. I mean, it might be a very thin-walled pipe, and therefore it's going to be prone to getting hot. But the only way to smoke that pipe without it getting hot is to slow down. And sometimes there are some pipes that just need to be sipped very gently. Other ones are, you can just puff away on them and they never get hot. There's a lot that goes into how that works, and it's not just the thickness of the walls, but the briar and everything else, the grain even. But yeah, I think cadence is a really important part of whether or not the pipe gets hot. There we go. Doug says Rathbone smoked the 4AB shape, which was discontinued, but Peterson introduced it for the pipe of the year in 21. And Doug grabbed 2 of them because he loves those movies. Now that's interesting. Sailor's saying that the 70s and 80s Petersons were bad. I didn't have that experience, but again, maybe it's just luck of the draw. Yeah, and Gary Edminster is saying he's got 1 Irish second that smokes as well as a $300 pipe. I believe it. I mean, I really love my Irish seconds. Yeah, Jim PM is pointing out that some tobaccos do naturally burn hot, so that definitely can be a factor. But again, the way to combat that is to slow down when you're smoking those tobaccos. All Briared Up is saying maybe pack it tighter to help slow the draw, and that helps with like shag cuts. But if you got a ribbon or something like a crumble cake, you could actually be fighting yourself there because the tighter draw will make you draw harder, which will actually heat the pipe up. So it's not a simple question to answer, to be honest. But I really think cadence is the #1 reason pipes get hot. Yeah, George Campbell's saying not packing too tight is, yeah. So not packing too loose, not packing too tight, this is all important. Oh, geez, see, that's the kind of thing that just shouldn't happen, Texas Piper. Finish on this smooth 2022 Christmas pipe came off in his hands on the first smoke. There's just no reason that kind of stuff should happen. This is actually smoking really nicely. I don't have a comparison to say whether it's cool or not, but it certainly is smoking dry, and yeah, it's great. So thank you, Jim. Yeah, the Urban Hermit, his pipes sometimes scream when he walks up to the pipe rack. You can hear them very quietly yelling, "Oh, no, not me! Pick the other one! Pick the other one! You smoked me last month." There you go, Patrick. That's definitely a good way to learn how to slow smoke. Try one of these slow smoke contests. Charlie Delgado, happy we could offer some advice there, and just stick with it. It takes a while just to learn all these little, balances. Not going too fast or too slow, not packing too hard or too light. But it's very rewarding if you stick with it. You will figure it out. And if you're lucky enough to have a pipe shop around and somebody can talk you through it, or another pipe smoker in the area, that can save you months and months of frustration. Yeah, Doug, I like the three-step method as well. And I actually think, and I was going to someday do a video about this, but I think all the pipe packing methods that you hear about, the Frank method and the Vortex method and all this stuff, I think they all reduce down to the three-step method. And the basic idea is don't pack the bottom real hard. Leave yourself some air space at the bottom so that you don't make the draw so hard that you're pulling through it fast and it heats up. That's really the secret. Keep it loose at the bottom and tighter at the top. And that description that Doug gives there is saying the draw initially should be like a very loosely packed cigar is really a good way to think about it. Tamping is quite a skill as well, Texas Piper. Yeah, I mean these. After you've been doing this for a while, it's just sort of automatic. But how often you tamp and how you tamp, do you don't just slam it down in there, but you kind of gently consolidate the ash and maybe a little harder around the edges, a little lighter in the middle. All these things are really important. This is true, Ford. You will one day, if you stick with it, be able to do that. You'll pack your pipe one-handed while driving 60 miles an hour on the way to your next destination. I've done it. Kevin, you're joking there, but actually finger tamping is a good way to get a feel. I mean, I'm not suggesting this because you will burn your finger, but you can actually feel how tight you're tamping, and you don't want to push down to the point where you're going to burn your fingertip. You just want to kind of get that ash compressed a little bit. You shouldn't really be pushing on the burning part of the tobacco. St. David, are you taking off? Well, you have a great weekend, buddy. Thanks for joining us tonight. Jim PM is a kung fu master at one-handed packing while driving. Gary Edminster says he saw a tamper on a finger ring. That's interesting. Cisco, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, Northwest Pipe Smoker is quite a guy, and it's funny. Next time he yells at me that I need to buy a Bic, I'm going to tell him to buy a tamper. Now that's a skill I'd like to see, Voodoo. One-handed cigarette rolling. I tried a couple times to roll cigarettes, and with two hands, it was still a nightmare. And Kevin Doolin is enjoying Pegasus. Well, congratulations on finding that blend. It's a wonderful one. Ron Hardcrackers is a member of the Ashy Finger Club as well. Chubbs McGee is asking, what's the best way to stain a cob different colors? The only way I've ever tried it, Chubbs, is using Fibing's leather dyes. I don't know if it's the best way, but that's the only way I've done it. There you go. Bearwolf, Miss Kathy. I pack like Grandpa showed me, all loose until the top and then pressed down like shaking hands with another man. Yeah, that's kind of a variation on the three-step method that's just two steps, but depending on how hard you push down, you're getting the same effect. Phil Rivera uses his finger unless he's feeling particularly sensitive. Kevin Berenger. Stained cobs with the blood of your recently vanquished foes. Yeah, you might have been watching a little bit too much of that. Paul Johnson, how you doing, Paul? Thank you, and hope you have a great weekend too. Yeah, the dark fired in this blend is really excellent, and it's a nice balance between the Virginias and the Burleys. Cloudbear did a nice job with this, and I can highly recommend his stuff based on this blend. I've got another one to try, which I'm very interested in. I haven't opened it yet. It's called Haunted Forest. So I'm hoping it's a take on Haunted Bookshop, but not sure what he was getting at there. All Briared Up is smoking some Five Brothers in his bent billiard. And Five Brothers is one of those blends you want to pack the heck out of, John. Right? I mean, that's one that if you don't pack it hard, it's going to burn too fast. Oh, okay. Cisco says Haunted Forest is Cloudbear's take on Haunted Bookshop. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying that. I'm smoking Four Monks now, and 4 Monks, and it's very good. Which I'm guessing is his take on Three Friars. Is it 3 friars? 4 friars? Some number of friars. There's 3 nuns, some number of friars, and 4 monks. He does sell to the public, Jim PM, and he does it through Instagram, as far as I can tell. So you just have to follow him on Instagram, where he is Cloudbear's Custom Blends, and just wait until he says, "Hey, I got something new tobacco available," and you DM him and get it. And he seems to be putting out 12 monkeys minus 8. Good point, Phil. That might explain it. He seems to be putting out quite a few blends. It slowed down a bit right around the holidays, but it seems to be picking up again. Then we'll throw in 3 Hail Marys for our sins, Gary. Indeed. Hype Appeal, good evening. Nice to see you tonight. No, Doug, Jim made a special stem for me that's not a P-lip on this pipe. Not a fan of P-lips. The Texas Piper saying 2 friends, 3 nuns, 5 brothers. I think it's 3 friars that Cornell and Deal makes. And now we got 4 monks. And then I don't think I've seen Corvette Jim tonight, but Corvette Jim found a tin of a tobacco that I think it was called. I'm not going to remember this, and the joke depends on the number. So let me think about this for a minute. It was 8, if I remember right, it was 8 brothers. Yeah, I think it was 8 brothers. And he put a picture of this up, and you know, everybody knows 5 brothers, and this was 8 brothers. And the question came up, well, what happened to the 3 brothers? And the joke was that they transitioned into nuns. So there, Urban Hermit is remembering 8 brothers. Yep. Yeah, he did do a nice job on the stem, Doug. No question about it. And I've made stems this size, and they're not fun. They're not fun at all, especially to get the taper right. And he did nail it in terms, because it's got a slight taper from the place where it would junction with the shank, although in this pipe it doesn't, up to the button. It does taper slightly, and he got that beautifully. And he also has a set of stamps, so he can do the Peterson stamp on the replacement stems. So if you need pipe work done, Jim is at premiumpolishedpipes.com and does excellent work. It's definitely the beginning of a bar joke. Ford, definitely. And Phil's waiting on a Becky version of 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Oh, we got 10 Russians. Good one, Michael. You may be able to complete the numbers from 1 to 10. Phil says no stem work is fun. Yeah. I gotta confess, Phil, that I kind of enjoy the stem work. There are parts of it I absolutely hate, especially making a stem fit a pipe. You know, if you're making a replacement stem, I hate that, getting that final shape to the stem shank junction without damaging the shank. But I enjoy shaping the blade, and you know, I like doing. Boy, I'm blanking on all sorts of words tonight. I like making stems. I'm just going to leave it at that. Fun, I don't know if I'd use the word fun, but I enjoy parts of it. So Jim PM says last week he mixed SV English mixture, Stokeby EOS, Sutliff red wine, SV Vanilla Cavendish, and Smoker's Pride Black, and it was a really nice English aromatic, similar to the feel of Match Revelation. Wow. I bet you couldn't replicate that again if you tried. Yes, Big Country Briar. His website is Premium Polished Pipes. Polished, as in that's shiny. Not polished. If you mix 3 nuns with 3 friars, you get 3 bees? I don't know, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. I don't know. Okay, thank you, Jim. So Jim's email is on that website. And again, I highly recommend it. And this bowl is just about done, but Jim, hope you don't mind me blowing your horn a bit there, Jim, but Jim did some training with Tim West, who was the guy that I originally was sending folks to when I shut down my pipe restoration and repair work. And Tim is great, but Tim's also very busy. And I got to know Jim shortly after that, and you know, I've seen his work, and now I've experienced it firsthand, and yeah, I can highly recommend him. I believe that Sailor. Sailor says he watched the interview with one of the better-known Italian pipe makers from 2013. He said about 2/3 of the cost of the pipe is in the stem work. Yeah, certainly if it's a well-made stem, that's going to be true. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing pipe repair work, because I'm slow and I want to do it right, and it takes a really long time for me to make a stem. And yeah, I just can't justify charging for my time, because nobody's going to pay what it actually cost me to make the stem in terms of time. And I'm not going to do it faster, because I don't think I'd do as good a job. So yeah, I believe that 2/3 of the cost is there. And Phil Rivera's saying the same. Most time-consuming portion of the work. Yeah. And probably the one that takes the most skill and practice as well. Yeah, Tim is an amazing guy. And actually, Phil, I got to thank you, because you first put me in touch with Tim years ago. I was looking for a silver cap for actually a Peterson restoration I was doing, and you suggested I get in touch with him. And he's an amazing guy, because you can get in touch with him and say, Tim, I need this thing, and like nobody's gonna have this thing, you know, and he'll say, give me 5 minutes, and he'll come back and say, I've got it, and I can send it to you for 89 cents or, you know, something ridiculous. It's amazing. I just imagine he's got like 4 big barns out back that are just loaded with stuff that he has to go sort through every time somebody calls him. Yes, Phil, stems are defined. You're right. And if a stem doesn't fall within the parameters of what folks think a stem should be, it's going to be very obvious. I think that's one of the reasons why saddle stems are becoming more popular with a lot of pipe makers, because there's less. I mean, it's much easier to get that. They can be very hard to execute properly, but once you get the sort of, you know, go down this far and go down this far sort of stuff down, it's a straight shot from that saddle to the button, and that makes it a lot easier than trying to get that perfect taper on a billiard, you know, a regular straight taper stem. I think there's just a simpler stem to execute once you know how to do it. Yeah, it's true. You might need a day or two to search the containers as well. Hey, the one Simplex one. How are you doing tonight? And Cisco says it takes him forever to remove oxidation from an old pipe stem, but he loves how black they come out when he's done. Yeah, isn't that something? You look at those things and you think there's no way this is ever going to be black. It could have never been black.
So Ford is asking who makes the match revelation. I have no idea. So Chubbs McGee likes P-lips, followed by saddle bits. Not a fan of the P-lip, but I know there are folks that really do love them. Yeah, I got a love-hate relationship with acrylic, all briared up. You know, acrylic polishes up beautifully, but it's such a pain to file and shape. I'd much rather work with the ebonite and spend the extra time sanding it and getting it polished up, but be able to shape it easier. But then you get more choices in terms of the look of the acrylic. Yeah, and it's hard to get that taper right, Phil. And that 5 to 10 millimeter section is really critical because even that's got to slope a little bit or else it looks like a big bump. Oh, cool, Kevin. So Kevin's making a odds and ends jar, one for American blends and one for English blends in 2023. That's a great idea. Yeah, if you don't keep those English separate, you're just going to wind up with an English blend at the end of the year. Gary Edminster's a P-lip fan as well. Sailor says he likes the squared tapered pieces like you find on a 4-square. Yeah, those are difficult. Patrick Grant lighting up a mix of 1Q and Autumn Evening in a craw French pipe and drinking Carlsberg Elephant Pilsner. Nice. Cornell and Deal makes a match revelation called Epiphany, yeah. But I think there's also a revelation match. I never got along with Epiphany. I don't know why. There's something about it that I just don't like. Northwest Piper, good evening to you. Hope you're well as well. Thank you, Horatio. I appreciate that. Feeling great too. So Sutliff makes a match, says Ron. And then the Cornell and Deal Epiphany. So it's Sutliff that makes the revelation match. Yeah, Phil, I think that initial taper is really the key. I mean, that's the first thing I look at when I look at a tapered stem is that, as you're saying, 5 to 10 millimeters from the shank. Yeah, you know, Cole, I think that's what I didn't like about it. He says Epiphany tastes like fruit striped gum. There's something chemically sweet about it that I don't like. Cisco says he's hooked on Fire Dance Flake by Samuel Gawith. I had some of that quite a while back. I think Bona Piper actually sent me some of that at one point. Good stuff. Beowulf and Miss Kathy, good night to you. Hope you have a great weekend, friends. And I'm not repacking because we're going to be winding down in a moment or two. And I've probably had enough tobacco today, given I took the day off and spent most of it sitting down here smoking Haunted Bookshop and doing nothing. All right, Ford, thanks for joining us, buddy. You have a great weekend, my friend. So if you missed me at the beginning, I was mentioning that my wife might be heading back to Pittsburgh soon. Some more issues with her mom and dad. Nothing bad, but just stuff she has to help out with. So by this time next week, I might be a bachelor again. We'll see. But hey, if things go as well as they did last time, I'll still have all my digits when she gets home, and yeah. All right, Big Country Briar, you have a great weekend too, buddy. No, you know, Cisco, I think last week I got out that McConnell Scottish Flake and was talking about the fact that I wanted to crack it open. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to soon. I'm very curious about it. Doug says his battery's been on the fritz for years. All right, Gary, good night. You have a great weekend. Jeffrey, good night. Have a good weekend. All briared up. Everybody's leaving. Good night, y'all. Yeah, Doug, I do cook for myself, actually. I do. I'm not too bad of a cook. I'm limited in what I can cook. I've got 4, maybe 5 things I can make that an adult would eat. When I lived before I met my wife, when I lived on my own and was in grad school, I used to cook some things that I'm embarrassed to even admit to. Kept me alive, kind of. But these days, yeah, there's 4 or 5 things I can cook for myself, and you know, there's always takeout. You know what, Ron? I should go ahead and order myself some crooner today. Although it was out of stock last I heard. Yeah, I'll buy a tin of it. I don't care. I got to get some, and yeah, take advantage of this time. Take advantage of the fact that I'm going to be a bachelor and I can smoke crooner all I want. Yeah, Cisco, I'll definitely give you my thoughts on it. In fact, I'll do one of my Sunday videos on that blend because I've really been looking forward to it. Piper on the 45, thank you. You have a great weekend, buddy. Doug Owen can do chili, spaghetti sauce, hamburgers, sometimes spam in a pinch. Well, chili and spaghetti sauce are 2 of the things that I do well, and I'll do spaghetti sauce with meatballs or with sausage, or sometimes both. The spaghetti sauce is my specialty, and I do a really good Cincinnati chili. Got a couple other things. We got one of these Instant Pots, which yeah, it's sort of a pressure cooker, fancy pressure cooker. And there's stuff I used to eat a lot when I was a kid. My grandmother used to make something that we called it filled peppers, and never really thought about why. It's actually, if you know what stuffed peppers are, well, it's kind of that, but in a casserole form. So I can make that. I can make chicken and rice in the pressure cooker. I like both of those. Probably a few other things that I just can't think of. Michael Case, I would be a cheap chiseler in this case. Thank you for pointing that out. but not always. I do have some less cheap chisels. Phil says he survived a year in Io eating smoked oysters, clams, fish, and ramen. That's probably not terribly healthy, Phil, but I could see how, well, actually it's not that bad, is it? The ramen's not great, but good night, Steve Russell. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Cincinnati chili's hard to describe, Doug. It's a chili. It's a beef bean mixture. It's got some very interesting spicing to it. All the stuff you'd normally find in chili, but it also includes cinnamon and cocoa powder. Tastes much better than it sounds. And it's usually served over spaghetti with chopped onions and cheddar cheese. It's fantastically good. And if you're ever in Cincinnati, there's a restaurant that's famous for it that I will think of the name of. But yeah, it's good stuff. Phil, I can highly recommend the Instant Pot for some things. You know, I do those recipes in it. We've got a macaroni and cheese recipe that was really good, but we haven't made it in years because we cleaned up our diet and just don't eat that stuff anymore. Skyline, thank you, Jim PM. Skyline is the restaurant I was trying to think of. It makes great stew. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff you can do with the Instant Pot. I don't know why my phone is beeping at me, but it is. That's interesting, Phil. Carnauba wax keeps the ramen noodles from sticking together. Well, it's a pipe maker's dream food then, isn't it? Well, folks, we're down to about a minute left here, and I've timed my drink appropriately. I'm very happy about that. Peter, I'd be happy to give you the recipe. I'll have to type it up and send it to you. Ramen bomb, ramen noodles mixed with instant mashed potatoes. That sounds like something I would eat when I was in grad school, mountain coffee outdoors. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for joining me tonight. As I always say, high point of my week. Great chatting with you all. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. I will be back on Sunday with a video talking about something or the other. Maybe I'll get this chisel off the screen by then. We shall see. But y'all take care. Have a fantastic weekend. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye now.